Between 1968 and 1969, at least 5 people were murdered in Northern California by a man who gave himself a name. Not a name his mother gave him, a name from the darkness. He sent letters to the police. He sent letters to newspapers. He attached pieces of his victims' clothing as proof. He gave coded messages and claimed they would reveal his identity. More than 50 years have passed. No one has ever been charged. No one has ever been convicted. And to this day, the Zodiac killer has never been officially identified. This isn't just another cold case. It is America's greatest unsolved murder mystery. Today, we're going deep into the mystery of the Zodiac killer. To understand the Zodiac killer, you first need to understand California in the late 1960s. The summer of love had just ended. America was changing rapidly, yet beneath the excitement, fear was growing. The Zodiac killer operated across Northern California, targeting isolated couples on quiet roads and lovers' lanes. Unlike many killers, he didn't just want to murder, he wanted attention. He wanted newspapers to print his words. He wanted the entire country to know his name. His crimes weren't only acts of violence. They were performances designed to spread fear across America. To understand the Zodiac killer, you first need to understand California in the late 1960s. The summer of love had just ended. America was changing rapidly, yet beneath the excitement, fear was growing. The Zodiac killer operated across Northern California, targeting isolated couples on quiet roads and lovers' lanes. Unlike many killers, he didn't just want to murder. He wanted attention. He wanted newspapers to print his words. He wanted the entire country to know his name. His crimes weren't only acts of violence. They were performances designed to spread fear across America. The first confirmed attack occurred on December 20th, 1968. David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen were parked on Lake Herman Road during their first date. Both teenagers were brutally murdered. There were no witnesses, no clear motive, only unanswered questions. Months later, on July 4th, 1969, another attack happened at Blue Rock Springs Park. Darlene Ferrin was killed. Mike Maggio survived and later gave police the only eyewitness description of the attacker. Only 1 hour later, a mysterious caller contacted police, claiming responsibility not only for this attack, but also for the Lake Herman Road murders. Then, on September 27, 1969, Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were attacked beside Lake Berryessa by a hooded man wearing the now famous Zodiac symbol. Brian survived. Cecilia died from her injuries. Before leaving, the killer wrote details of his previous attacks on the victim's car door. Finally, on October 11, 1969, San Francisco taxi driver Paul Stine was murdered. The killer even mailed part of Stine's shirt to a newspaper as proof that he was responsible. Despite witnesses seeing the suspect leave the scene, a police communication error may have allowed him to escape. What made the Zodiac different from almost every other serial killer wasn't only the murders, it was the letters. Beginning in 1969, he mailed coded messages to newspapers. He demanded they publish his words. If they refused, he threatened even more violence. His first cipher was solved within days, but another code remained unsolved for more than 50 years before finally being cracked in 2020. Even after decades, the messages revealed almost nothing about who he really was. In total, the Zodiac mailed at least 20 confirmed letters, constantly reminding investigators that he was still free. Over the decades, hundreds of suspects have been investigated. Arthur Lee Allen remained the most famous suspect for years. Although several details seemed suspicious, handwriting and DNA evidence never conclusively connected him to the crimes. Other names included Gary Francis Post, Lawrence Kane, and Jack Terrence. Each theory generated headlines. none produced definitive proof. Today, despite decades of investigation, no suspect has ever been officially identified as the Zodiac Killer. The Zodiac Killer changed American true crime forever. His crimes inspired books, documentaries, films, podcasts, and countless investigations. Researchers continue studying his letters. Cryptographers still analyze his ciphers. For the victims' families, however, this isn't entertainment. It's an open wound that has never healed. More than half a century later, justice remains unfinished. So who was the Zodiac Killer? A lonely man hiding in plain sight? Someone police questioned but never arrested? Or someone whose identity may never be known? Even today, unanswered questions remain. Unidentified DNA, unsolved evidence, mysteries waiting to be uncovered. What do you think? Was the Zodiac ever interviewed by police without them realizing who he really was? Share your theory in the comments. And if you enjoy true crime documentaries, don't forget to subscribe, because our next investigation explores Ted Bundy's final confession. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.